What up? It's your boy, the Incredible Man. And yes, I'm back at it again. This is Dr. Stone, episode 12, discussion/review. And it was another wonderful episode, man. I enjoyed every single moment yet again because it was just that good. And I laughed. There were serious moments as well. There was so much going on that, man, it was too good not to love. Yeah, man, let's get it. Actually, this episode started with a whole comedic scene, like picking up right after last week's episode, where Ginro was talking about getting his silver spear, and he got it, and he was just so in love with it. He was walking around kissing it and everything, and he was making fun of his brother for not having his gold spear. You don't have your gold spear anymore? Oh, that's right, you don't. I love it. I actually love Ginro, man. Ginro is hands down one of my favorite characters now. I love him. I love seeing him on screen, and he conveys that realism behind each character, man. I mean, because in times like this, when you don't have a lot of technology and stuff going on, fear is real regardless, and that's pretty much what this whole episode was about. But Ginro shows that fear to us, and we kind of understand where he's coming from. I mean, because if you walk into some of these problems that they've had to kind of fix in this era and time, you'd have fear as well, man. I mean, no one walks up on a lion and just a wild lion and pets and be like, oh, well, okay, nice lion. No, you're gonna die. So, and the fear that Ginro has this episode is actually real fear, and I'm sure that everyone would have the same kind of fear that he has. Even Senku and Chrome had fear when it came to the sulfuric acid. So I love that, and how they played that a whole make that a whole thing in this whole episode, man. Let's get it. So it picked up right after last week's episode, like I said, and Ginro has his spear, but Senku easily crushes his whole hopes and dreams and tell him that's not what it's used for. You're gonna use it so you can be our guard. And in the whole moment when he said guard, like in his mind, he pictured himself holding Kohaku, buff and walking around and everything like a typical anime character, and it was absolutely lovely. So then they're making their way to the sulfuric acid pit, and there's this little mini journey on their whole way there. They come to this river that doesn't have any fish, and they don't really see any animals or birds or anything. So then they get to the pit, and it looks very beautiful, but it's covered with sulfuric acid, so if you got too close, you would die. So they didn't know how close to get, but that's what the silver spear was for, to let them know, because the moment it came in contact with sulfuric acid, it was going to turn the spear black. So they were all there, and they were fine, but somehow Ginro got tranced in the whole thing, and they kind of made it like a lady in the lake or the lady in the water, and she was like entrancing Ginro to come closer and come closer, and he was fine for a long time until he finally got like right up on it, and the spear turned black, and he was steady walking because he was so entranced, and that's when Kohaku had to pull him back. And then the lady, she transformed from a beautiful angel into like a weird deformed lady that was like smashed with acid and everything. I love how they done that. They made it seem like it was an actual thing instead of just like it was like an actual being they had to overcome, instead of just actually trying to find a way to do it. So then we get back to the village, and they have to think of a way to be able to get the sulfuric acid, because if not, they will die just ingesting it like that. So then Senku comes up with the nice idea to create a gas mask, which I love. Senku is one of the coolest characters, but my best boy and coolest character has to be Chrome, man. I mean, I love Ginro, I love Kinro, and I'm feeling okay about some other characters as well, and I love Senku, but it has to be Chrome, man. Chrome has to be best boy, because this episode solidified Chrome's presence as a standing, man. I mean, Taiju was Senku's best friend, and they grew up together and everything, but this right here officially sold it as Chrome being Senku's friend as well. I mean, before this, it felt really more like they were working towards a friendship and they were just partners, but now it feels like a friendship, man, and I love that. So then we get back there, and Senku has this idea to create the gas mask and the oxygen like container tank and everything. And then he has I can't remember his name. The old guy, he has him, I know his name, I can't think of it. Anyway, he has him fix it up and make it. But in that whole process, he's telling Chrome, okay, I don't want you to go. I'm gonna go, and if I die, I need you to stay here and fix everything. And the fact is that because he was going to pass down 2 million years of science knowledge to Chrome, and in that whole aspect, Chrome was like, no, I don't want it because I'm going with you. And dude, that is so boss, man. And he was like, I don't care what happens because you're not gonna die. And Senku, and I love their back and forth. And Senku was like, well, I don't plan on dying, but in case something happens. And Chrome was like, no, I'm going with you. And if something happens, it happens to both of us. And he was like, well, we're not gonna die. And there was just a whole back and forth. And I love that. And that whole moment solidified Chrome as best boy and king of the friendships in my eyes, man. I love Senku, and I love Senku and Taiju's relationship, but Chrome is the highest point, man. Chrome is the boy, and that whole thing is I loved it. I really, really loved it, man. Then we see like a little flash forward type thing where they're both in science robes, and he was like, well, who's gonna lead the science thing if you're not here? And he was like, you and everything, and he was like, no, I'm not having it. And then in that whole little time that they were having that talk and discussion, Kohaku was listening, and then we got a nice backstory flashback type thing of Kohaku, and it was her listening to her sister and her father, and they were telling her that she's going to be the next priestess to pass down the 100 Tails. And now what I'm guessing is the 100 Tails is what and how they know what gorillas and everything else is. That's what the 100 Tails is. And I'm excited to find out what the 100 Tails are, because it seems like her mom passed down the 100 Tails, which she probably got it from someone else. But they passed down the 100 Tails. So either they found a text with all of this stuff in it, or it was just constantly passed down. But I'm super excited to find out what the 100 Tails entails. So then after that, they make the gas mask. Oh no, before that, then we have Kohaku telling Chrome that I know that you want to be with my sister, and everyone in the village would love for you to be with my sister, but but the gods didn't bless you with the ability to fight. So we have to have Ginro to marry her. But if you're okay with it, I'll marry you. Dude, that is a real sacrifice for someone you don't love or anything like that. They're friends, but they don't love each other. And then Chrome, he doesn't just like brush it off, but he brushes it off like as of like trying to keep her honor going, because he's like, no, that's not you. You're a strong gorilla. Then she kicks him, and you see the knot swell up on his head, and he was like, see, gorilla. But he was like, you don't love me. And she was like, no. And he was like, well, you shouldn't do something that's not you or out of character like that. Lovely, man. So then we get that, and we have Chrome and Senku there at the sulfuric acid pit, and Chrome starts to panic a little bit, and Senku's just walking straight down. But as they go, you can pan down, and Chrome's asking him, are you not scared? And he was like, no, I'm not. But like, if we make our breathing erratic, then we will die, because like all of the charcoal will be gone. But then also they pan down, and they show Senku's hand shaking as he's walking towards the pit. And that was nice. That was a nice exposition. Then we have Chrome finally going down, and then we have the old man talking to Ginro about fear and everything, about how he was scared in the past. They even showed a flashback about that, and that it's okay to be afraid. Fear keeps you alive, Ginro. And I love that as well. So then he was like, oops, I made an extra gas mask. I'll just sit right here. And he walks off. So it was nice. But then we have Ginro pick it up, make his way to I'm pointing like they're over there, make his way to Chrome and Senku. And Senku, the acid ends up popping on Senku's hose, and it puts a hole in it, and Chrome tries to warn him, and when he does, he slips off of a rock and almost falls in the acid. And then Ginro comes up whipping out the spear and saves Chrome, and they all conquer their fear, and they capture the lady in the lake. It was kind of like a Pokemon, but they capture the lady in the lake, and now they have the acid to save Ruini, to make the cure-all medicine, man. I love this episode. It had a lot of stuff going on, and this episode, to me, sold Chrome as best boy. But this is your boy, Nick Incredible, man. Don't forget to smash that like button so you can't smash it anymore. Comment down below, and I'll be sure to respond to each and every one of them, and subscribe. But only if you really want to, man. And remember that anime matters, anime is greatness, and anime is life, man. Peace out.